Hey, what is going on, folks? Welcome back, Nerd Out on the Creek. We're going to continue this conversation about scaling, but instead of me yelling at the video again, we're going to talk about how scaling is actually just a different way of talking about progressions. And what I mean is, today's workout has 50 handstand push-ups for time. Every time you come off the wall or every time you come out of your handstand push-up, you owe 20 kettlebell swings unbroken to get back to the 50 handstand push-ups. So if I do 15, do a couple swings, back at it, another 10, a couple swings, maybe another 10, a couple swings, I bang out that last set of 15. Nice, I finish. Look at my time. We should be in that 6 to 8-ish. Maybe if you're moving really well, like 4 to 6 minute range. Basically what you can think of is every time you come off of the handstands and have to do another 20 kettlebell swings, you bought about 2 minutes, 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes of time. So if you do it in one set, hey, you knocked that out in like 2 minutes. Well done, 15 handstand push-ups. Weirdo. But if you did it in like 2 sets, maybe you're in like the 4-minute range. If you did it in 3 sets, maybe you're in like the 4 to 5 minute range. 4 sets, that 5 to 7 minute, maybe 6 minute range. So you see where I'm going with this. The idea being that handstand push-ups are going to fatigue. And in that fatigue, we start to lose position. So any sort of scaling that we're gonna do should be on the track or on the road of a progression to get an athlete towards being upside down and doing a pressing motion. So we can walk that all the way back. If my handstand push-up is here, we can progress that all the way back, scale that all the way back to where I am just doing a plank push-up, lowering down, pressing back up. But I can't do a full push-up. It's okay. In the concept of scaling and shifting that idea from I'm scaling to I'm progressing in the movement, well, now all of a sudden we have a myriad of variabilities that we can use to get an athlete to pressing themselves in a vertical plane. All right, so we would start, I said, a push-up, right? So I'm in this plank push-up position. I'm in a hollow body. I set my shoulders, I lower myself down, touch, and I press back up. Well, maybe I don't have the strength to get to that full range of motion. Well, I can take this ab mat and I can block my range of motion. So now I get into that hollow body plank, press, and I touch the ab mat. Put it up where my head's gonna be because that's my blocking motion. Touch, and I press up. Well, I still don't have the strength to get there. Don't worry, you can use 2 ab mats. Any more than 2 ab mats, we're not really doing the movement anymore. So that's about as far as you want to go. But now, right, I can maintain that position and I can get the full range of motion available to me. So, all right, what's the next step in my progression? I can come up to my box. So I come, knees all the way to the edge, hands nice and close, looking back at the box, and I set those shoulders, lower down, and I touch my head and press back out. Well, I can't quite get there, that's too hard. I can block my range of motion with an ab mat. Let's say I can't quite do the full range of motion on that, but this with an ab mat is too easy. Well, maybe you move back to the plank push-up and no ab mat, or maybe you move somewhere in between. Maybe it's 2 ab mats on the plank because 1 ab mat here is too hard. Or maybe 1 ab mat here is too easy, so I do 2 ab mats there, which is a little bit harder. Everyone's gonna be a little bit different. So you've got some contrast, some brightness, some gain, whatever metaphor you wanna use, but you can turn those dials to progress you along to where you are kicking up to the wall. You've got the strength to hold yourself in position, set the shoulders, lower down, touch, and press. To where we can even do it as long as I've got the strength to do 3 to 4 strict handstand push-ups, I can start to make them dynamic, kipping handstand push-ups. FYI, up against the wall, kipping, anything where I'm assisting myself to stay up in that vertical plane, that's a progression, because gymnasts can get on a floor, kick up into a freestanding handstand, and start doing push-ups. Not a gymnast. Can't quite do that yet. So that's a progression to a freestanding handstand push-up. In CrossFit, we've just established that for today as the RX movement, a kipping handstand push-up. But we could say RX is 4-inch deficit. We could say RX is with a weight on your feet. We could say RX is while holding a baby, one-handed, do your handstand push-up. It doesn't matter. RX is a moving target. Progressions are something that we can use as I'm at this stage, but it's also not, when I do handstand push-ups, I do them this way. That's all I do. To continue to keep moving forward in your fitness, think about everything's a progression. And sometimes progressions go forward and backward. Sometimes you stick with push-ups because that's where you're at for that day. Sometimes you can get upside down because that's where you're at that day. But we're always progressing or have our eye towards moving to that whatever target is in front of us. And it doesn't matter if it's a linear, always moving forward. It can be a back and forth, but we're always consistently putting in the effort and looking for that mechanics that is a little bit better every single day. All right, that's all I got for you. See you on the creek.